I looked at my boss's job and realized I didn't want it. Not because I didn't admire her, I did. She was smart, strong, respected. But most of her job was spent defending the value of marketing, not actually doing it. And I thought to myself, is that what I'm working toward? Welcome to Marketing Your Way podcast. I'm Anastasia Mann, marketing strategist, agency owner, and business mentor. But more importantly, I'm your guide to breaking free from the 9-to-5 and building a marketing business on your terms. I know what it's like to crave more freedom, more impact, more income. I've been there, and this podcast is your shortcut to get in there faster. Each week, we dive into real strategies, expert insights, and mindset shifts to help you launch, grow, and scale your marketing business with confidence. And just in case you're wondering, yes, this podcast comes with a Ukrainian accent and a whole lot of straight talk. So if you've ever asked yourself, how do I find clients? What should I charge? Can I really do this? The answer is absolutely yes. And you're in the right place, my friend. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Marketing Your Way podcast. Today we are talking about something I wish more people said out loud. What it is really like to be a woman in marketing today. This episode is for you if your calendar is full but your creativity feels flat. You're constantly proving the ROI of marketing instead of actually doing it. You've climbed the ladder and realized the next rung might not be for you. We are talking about the pressure, the people-pleasing, the creativity, the burnout, and the quiet voice inside you that's wondering if there is more. Because I've been there, and you are not crazy for wanting something different. Here's what no one tells you about being a woman in marketing. You do not just carry projects, you carry proof. You are the one justifying headcount, explaining why we need this platform, this copywriter, this ad spend, defending brand plays that haven't had time to show results. Cue the usual questions. What's the ROI on this? Can we tie this to revenue? How did this ladder up to the pipeline? At some point, it starts to feel like you're spending more time explaining marketing than actually doing it. And let me tell you something. I saw this close up. In my corporate job, I had a boss I really admired. She was smart, she was sharp, she was respected, and she tried to shield our team from the constant pressure. She wanted us to be creative, to still have fun with the work. But the higher she climbed, the less space there was for that. Most of the day, she was spending defending the value of marketing. And that's when I realized, I do not want that job. Not because I couldn't do it, but because it's not the version of success I actually wanted. So many of us are working toward goals we do not even believe in anymore because we don't realize that there are other options. And now let's talk about creativity. The reason a lot of us got into this field in the first place. You know what kept me going back then? It wasn't the promotions, it wasn't the dashboards, it was those tiny acts of rebellion where I got to actually create. I taught myself Canva, I learned Squarespace, I took back tasks from agencies and just did them myself. Not to cut corners, but to move faster, to test ideas, to get a campaign launched, not to stuck in approval loops for 2 weeks. At first, I didn't even tell anyone. I'd quietly mock something up, show it to my boss, and then explain how we could build it in-house. Eventually, she saw the value. Eventually, she changed how things worked. But it took fighting for that creative spark and protecting it over and over again. And maybe you are doing that too. Fighting to keep the work creative. Fighting to keep it fun. Fighting to stay in it even when the process grinds you down. If you're secretly opening Canva during the meetings just to feel alive, you are not alone. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. So much of corporate marketing isn't about what's effective, it's about what's defensible. And those are not the same thing. Defensible means it checks a box. It has a budget line. It looks good in a dashboard. Intentional means it solves a real problem. It moves the business forward. It connects with the buyer, not just the boardroom. When you are in a survival mode, you start building campaigns for metrics, not meaning. Creative becomes measurable instead of magnetic. Ideas get watered down for trackability, and your strategy shifts from driving results to defending your decisions. And I just want to say this clearly. If you're tired of that, it doesn't make you ungrateful, it makes you awake. And now I would like to talk about her for a second, the voice. The one that shows up when you're folding laundry, walking the dog, or sitting in a meeting that could have been an email. She whispers things like, what if you pitched yourself for that role? What if you finally updated your LinkedIn? What if you tried freelancing? Just once. What if success couldn't feel like you again? And you shush her because you are busy, you're being practical, you're being grateful. But here's what I've learned. That voice, she is not a distraction. She is your direction. You do not have to burn it all down. You do not have to quit tomorrow. You do not need a polished plan. But you do have permission to want something that feels more like you. So let's redefine success. More doesn't have to mean more hours. Growth doesn't have to mean CMO. Success doesn't have to mean burnout with benefits. Maybe your next move isn't a big leap. Maybe it's asking for a new challenge, changing teams, taking a class, building a side project, saying no to something that no longer fits. This podcast isn't here to tell you what to do. It's here to remind you that you have options. And more importantly, you have power. Even if you are tired, even if you are unsure, even if the next step feels tiny. Women like us do not need help working harder. We need help pausing long enough to ask better questions. If this episode stirred something in you, I want to say this clearly. You do not need to figure everything out today. You do not need a 5-year plan. You do not need a personal brand. You do not need to go solo tomorrow. But you can give yourself a few minutes this week to reflect. That's why I created something just for you. It's called a Marketing Career Reinvention Plan. It's a free guide to help you explore what's next. Whether that's shifting roles, pitching yourself differently, building something new, or simply reconnecting to what you love about marketing. It's filled with reflection prompts, career direction ideas, and small doable steps that meet you exactly where you are. You can download it at marketingyourwaypodcast.com/career. Again, it's marketingyourwaypodcast.com/career. Or just click the link in the show notes. Because the first step isn't always a leap. Sometimes it's just a pause, a breathe, a brave decision to ask, what do I want, really? If you've been nodding along the whole time, wondering how I got inside your brain, it's because I was you. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not overthinking. You're just waking up to the truth that you want something more intentional. And that's a really good thing. If you want to keep exploring that journey with other women in marketing, join us. Our Marketing Your Way community is a free space to talk about the real stuff. Burnout, pivots, possibilities, and what growth actually means now. Head to marketingyourwaypodcast.com/community or tap the link in the show notes. And if this episode made you feel seen, please share it with a friend. Sometimes the most generous thing you can do is forward a podcast and say, hey, I thought of you. I'll see you next week. Until then, keep listening to the voice that says there is more. She's not wrong. She is wise. And that would be it for today's episode of Marketing Your Way podcast. I hope you are walking away with fresh ideas, new insights, and the confidence to take your next step. If this episode spoke to you, please do me a favor and leave a review. It will help more marketing experts like you to find the show and build their dream business. And hey, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a new episode. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, keep building your marketing business your way.